I've prepared predictions for 2026 for you. What awaits us in 2026? Please subscribe to my channel and like the video. Thank you. Baba Vanga, who is she? Baba Vanga, January 31, 1911, Strumica, Ottoman Empire, August 11, 1996, Sofia, Bulgaria, whose birth name was Vangelia Pandiva Dimitrova and who was known after marriage as Vangelia Gushtarova, was a blind Bulgarian mystic and clairvoyant. One of Vanga's most talked about prophecies is that humanity will have direct contact with a civilization arriving in a giant vehicle in 2026. Allegedly, the contact will take place during a major sporting event followed by the whole world. This prediction caused a wide stir both on social media and in the world press. Emphasis on the point of no return in technology, artificial organs extending human lifespan to 120 years. A prophecy regarding the medical world claims that laboratory-produced organs will become widespread, extending human lifespan to 120 years. It is commented that the production of artificial organs will mark the beginning of a revolutionary era in the global health system. Hamilton-Verstappen rivalry rekindled. According to Sky History's analysis, one of Baba Vanga's predictions regarding the world of sports points to Formula One. The prophecy states that Lewis Hamilton will win Ferrari's first championship in 2026. It is suggested that this success will come after intense rivalry with Max Verstappen. This claim has sparked considerable debate within the motorsport community. Another element in the prophecies is the rapid transformation in the field of technology. Baba Vanga suggests that critical boundaries will be crossed in the fields of artificial intelligence and biotechnology, and that this process will mark a point of no return for humanity. Comments regarding artificial intelligence gaining extraordinary power in decision-making processes are particularly noteworthy. Prophecies continue to be a subject of debate. Followers who believe that some of Baba Vanga's predictions from years ago have come true argue that these claims regarding the year 2026 should also be closely monitored. The scientific community, however, continues to approach the prophecies cautiously. These interpretations, which have aroused great interest worldwide, have increased curiosity about the year 2026. Who is Nostradamus? Nostradamus, or Michel de Nostradame, December 14, 1503, Saint-Rémy de Provence, July 2, 1566, Salon de Provence, was a French physician, pharmacist, prophet, and astrologer. Known as Michel de Nostradame, the author attracted the attention of European courts, with his poetic quatrains published from 1550 onwards. He even came under the patronage of Catherine de' Medici, Queen of France. How are the prophecies interpreted? Nostradamus's prophecies are not based on specific years, but on 100 quatrains in sections called centuries. For clues regarding the year 2026, the 26 lines of these sections are examined. The result is a picture ranging from epidemics and wars to political turmoil and strange natural phenomena. A great man will fall by a lightning strike. In the 26th quatrain of the 1st century, it is stated that a great man will be struck by lightning in broad daylight. This phrase directly suggests an assassination. However, the lightning analogy could also refer to technological attacks in the modern era, such as directed energy weapons. Countries like the US and China are intensively researching laser and microwave-based attack systems. The stanza also mentions a pandemic in Tuscany. While this is reminiscent of the severe situation Italy experienced during the COVID-19 pandemic, it is interpreted as a possible reference to seasonal illnesses prevalent in the Mediterranean, such as the Tuscan virus, which are expanding due to climate change. Ticino will be covered in blood. Another prophecy from the 2nd century suggests that the peaceful Ticino region of Switzerland will be shaken by war. It's difficult to imagine a scenario where the region, which has maintained its neutrality throughout history, is drenched in blood. Nevertheless, rising tensions in Europe, fragilities in the Balkans, and the protracted Russia-Ukraine war open new avenues for interpretation of these lines. A great swarm of bees will appear. The 26th quatrain of the 4th century says that a great swarm of bees, whose origin is unknown, will be born. This could mean an ecological recovery of the bee population, but it can also be interpreted as a warning about the return of invasive species like the killer wasps that came to light in 2020. The idols of kings and princes will be prepared. This verse, set in the 3rd century, is particularly reminiscent of the gold-colored statues made for Donald Trump in the US. A proposed commemorative coin design for 2026, featuring Trump on both sides, combined with popular interpretations of the prophecy, is fueling controversy. Rise in Slav war. The 26th quatrain of the 5th century speaks of the rise of Slavic peoples who find fortune in war. This expression is directly linked to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Deadly battle among 7 ships. The quatrain of the 7th century predicts a major conflict at sea. According to experts, the riskiest region is the South China Sea, which China claims. Beijing's island constructions, U.S. support for Taiwan, and fishing crises with regional countries indicate that tensions are rising. A leader from Madrid receives an arrow wound. Another prophecy in the same section states that a leader from Madrid will be wounded by an arrow. This arrow is now metaphorically interpreted as a political attack, scandal, or media pressure. In Spain, both the royal family and the government have been shaken by successive corruption and reputation crises in recent years. Numerology of 2026. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6. Some lines, referencing the number 10, contain fantastical imagery such as kings rising from the dead. Symbolic locations like the Habsburg crypt in Vienna are the subject of these interpretations. Another stanza speaks of a great smell of unknown origin in Lausanne, followed by the expulsion of those from distant lands from the city. These expressions are particularly noteworthy given the rising anti-immigrant sentiment in Europe. The great enemy of humanity. The 10th quatrain of the 10th century describes the rise of a leader described as more cruel than his ancestors, the great enemy of humanity. Commentators associate this expression with authoritarian dynasties like North Korea. Some believe it could be a sign of a leadership change, or a new wave of dictatorship. Since its premiere in 1989, The Simpsons has acted almost like a shadow report on world events. The fact that events portrayed as jokes in the show years ago are now appearing in real life is leading many to believe they are no longer coincidences. From Donald Trump's presidency to VR addiction, from pandemics to economic upheavals, many topics were addressed in the show years before they even happened. The classic Simpsons episode, Marge vs. the Monorail, is back in the spotlight today as an economic satire reminding us of governments investing millions of dollars in risky projects. Experts point out that countries are resorting to debt to fund megaprojects, and that digital investment bubbles are growing increasingly larger. The character Lyle Lanley, who tricked and escaped Springfield, reminds many users today of crypto scams, short-term investment projects, and poorly planned public spending. The VR life depicted in the episode Bart to the Future is no longer just for entertainment. Today, it's discussed in terms of work, education, and social relationships. Although metaverse projects seem to have slowed down, experts say that the new wave in VR, AR, after 2026 could fuel discussions about addiction. In the episode, Bart's state of being lost in technology and disconnected from social connections is linked to the increasing digital fatigue among children and adolescents today. Similarly, the episode Itchy and Scratchy Land, where AI-powered robots spiral out of control, is being shared as a humorous warning on many platforms discussing workforce transformation today. This time, the issue isn't aggressive robots, it's the potential for AI to leave millions unemployed. The rapid development of tools like ChatGPT has led to the introduction of digital labor laws in some countries. The episode Marge in Chains, where a virus spreading from Asia causes global panic, was revisited during the COVID-19 pandemic. However, what's noteworthy is that the debates surrounding this episode haven't ended even after COVID. Some health organizations continue to warn about the risk of mutations and zoonotic diseases for 2026. The Simpsons episode satirizes mass consumption before the pandemic, poor decisions made under stress, and the inadequacy of the healthcare system. The chaotic scenes in the series mirrored the supermarket queues, misinformation, and drug shortages experienced during the pandemic. As 2026 approaches, experts warning that a new pandemic is unlikely, but not impossible, has brought this episode back into the spotlight. The extreme weather events and storms affecting city life in the Homer the Heretic episode have become an extraordinary reality today. Cold waves, droughts, and flash floods are now considered the seasonal norm, not the exception in meteorological reports. The characters fighting the fire in the episode evoke images of the rising number of wildfires around the world today, the restrictions they face, and the inadequate measures they take. Scientific reports predicting a warmer climate by 2026 have led to the humor in the series gradually turning into a cautionary tale. Users are linking the humor about Homer staying home for religious reasons to the insensitive approaches in today's environmental policies. Who is Ibn Khaldun? May 1332, Tunis, March 19, 1406, Cairo, a 14th-century thinker, statesman, and historian considered one of the pioneers of modern historiography, sociology, and economics. He is also the first Muslim thinker in the Islamic world to include the principles of liberalism in his books. Muhyiddin ibn al-Arabi, a valuable figure, left us some important information in his works years ago. Let's share him first. Ibn al-Arabi, as you know, is a famous scholar, a great astrologer, and also a figure considered a saint by some. In his works, he made and left us some predictions about astrology and what might happen. Now, I will share these with you. It says, if the year begins on a Friday. This year is a year of storms and strong winds. Many stars are seen falling. Their effects are especially seen in sultans and kings. Now, I want to connect this to something else immediately. Isn't it very interesting? As you know, the eclipses are moving to the Aquarius-Leo axis. We say the South Node is in Leo, and if we consider that it is related to rulers, leaders, important people, and this could also be an artist. We always talk about the developments that await us, especially in 2026, if you remember. I even made a video specifically for 2026. We took a 5-minute look at its past history in the form of a documentary. How interesting, isn't it? A piece of information left years ago touches on the same point. For example, barley will become expensive this year. It will grow moss where it is placed. This year the herd animals will yield good results. Food items such as milk, yogurt, and cheese will increase. Increases are observed in camel and sheep herds. A great earthquake occurs in a part of the land. Many illnesses are seen. The winds increase. Therefore, sore throats and backaches begin. Thieves increase. Dry winds blow. The crops wither. It would be good if pregnant women paid a little more attention to their health. Now you will say, what are you saying, Demet? You are upsetting us, what are you telling us? I will also tell you good things, friends. So now, let's see. What has Muhyiddin ibn Arabi told us? He said, many people may suffer losses this year. Towards the end of the year, things will improve. Heavy rains will begin. With these rains comes goodness and blessings. After this, women become fat, he said, and added, an emir is appointed from Damascus to Mecca. Look how interesting, isn't it? We are already talking a lot about the Middle East right now. For example, this emir first arrives in Medina, where our prophet is. He devastates it. But the people of that place prevail against this emir. A severe disease is seen in the people of Mecca. At the same time, it is exposed to a locust plague. But what did he say? Nevertheless, the end of this year will be better for them than its beginning. There is fear of evil eyes on Mecca. There is always an emphasis on Mecca, if you notice. There will be lunar and solar eclipses. This year will be filled with violent events from all directions. He mentioned that many kings and sultans will die or be killed. Many comets will be seen in the sky this year. If you notice, the third atlas is very much in the spotlight right now, and we are talking about what might await us in 2026. How meaningful, isn't it? And he ends his sentence like this: as always, Allah knows best. Now, friends, if we look at the fact that we are entering the year 2026 on a Friday, then Friday is the day of the star Zuhr, that is, the planet Venus. Now I will tell you some nice things about this. So, while we might be a little disheartened when talking about the world and the general situation, I want to say this now, in case hearing these things might make you happy. If the beginning of this year starts or begins on a Friday, and the moon is in a fiery sign, this is a sign that many happy news will be received. For example, it is considered a sign that a war will be won, that travel, marriages, clothing and adornment will increase, that scholars, writers, and readers will be beneficial to people, that theft, lies, and deceit will decrease among women and the elite, that the hunting season will be weak, that foreigners will increase in the country, that children will increase, and that crops will ripen. And again, Allah knows best, he concluded. Besides that, I'm telling you I'll tell you some good things. He also added this: if it falls on a Friday, that year people will relax, become softer, weddings will increase, joy and well-being will increase, and there will be agreement, reconciliation and closeness between men and women. Such a year is the best and happiest year for marriages. On the other hand, the power of rulers will weaken. Malice and discord will increase. Diseases will increase. Fruit crops will be plentiful. The crops will drink their fill of water during the winter days. The winter will be harsh. The winds will blow fiercely during the summer days. The summers get longer. People's hearts harden. There are some losses of children and all kinds of livestock during this season. God knows best, he said, completing his sentence here as well. After leaving us with some sweet, or not so sweet titles about the color of this year, as always in his works, he presented something very beautiful and said, if you want to make atonement as you enter this year, I have some advice for you. Now we've come to some beautiful parts. Let's see what they are. If the new year begins on a Friday, he advises us to offer something white as atonement. The star Zuhr is associated with white. That is, Venus and elsewhere. This sentence has been explained to us as follows. It has been a little more helpful. If the year begins on a Friday, and the moon is in a fiery sign, it has been told to us that the atonement could be a white or red cow, rice, milk, honey, a white sheep, or a rooster. Actually, friends, if you ask my humble opinion, since it is mentioned in the work, and you see that Ibn al-Arabi also mentions a white atonement everywhere, rice and milk can be considered as healing, beauty, and goodness in the sense of helping and supporting those in need, for these atonements that will be given. He completed his sentence by saying, God knows best. Now, my favorite thing. I don't know if you like it too. I love burning incense in my house. And the last sentence of Muhyiddin Ibn Arabi's work, when he finishes, has affected me greatly since the first day I read it. Like burning incense at home. I want to share this with you. Maybe you like it too. You might want to burn it in your house. I want to say this so that you might have an idea of what kind of incense might be better to burn when you enter this year. Because Muhyiddin ibn Arabi ends his work like this, friends. His final sentence is this: O successful person, know that a job can only be completed by making incense. Allah is the all-knowing, and with that, he concludes his work. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the video, friends.